And last but not least, with my unboxings of the custom computer I'm going to build for a customer, here we got the motherboard, which is very necessary. It's a Ryzen build, so we got the Gigabyte, I'm doing micro ATX this time. It's AB350M-D3H. So let's unbox this motherboard. If you guys follow my channel quite a bit, my computer currently has a Ryzen 7 1700, and I have like the one step above this motherboard. It's not ultra durable, it's Gigabyte's gaming series. I think it's like the Gaming 3. So it's still micro ATX, but it's the Gaming 3, and it's like one step above this, has just a few changes, which I'll talk about in this video. But this motherboard is actually still pretty good. It's a little bit under $100 at the time of making this video, and it looks like it has some pretty great features. Still has USB 3.1 Gen 2 support, socket AM4. The chipset is AB350M, which is capable of overclocking, so that's very nice. And you get NVMe support as well, which is very, very, very cool. And the smart fan, that's actually very nice to control like fan curves and stuff like that within the BIOS. It actually works really well, which is fantastic. And generally speaking, I've had pretty good luck with Gigabyte motherboards, so that's why I went with Gigabyte, just because I like Gigabyte quite a bit. It's a black motherboard, as you can see, and has some pretty great stuff, as you can see on the back here. But let's go ahead and unbox it and look what's on the inside of it. All right, let's go ahead and start off with the stuff that's not the motherboard in this box, which includes the I/O shield. Very cool. I don't know if this was just a mistake by Gigabyte, but they gave me 4 SATA cables, 2 per package. All right, and one is 90, like, you know, it's 90-degree turn, and the other one's just straight. So I feel like that's a mistake, because they usually just give you one of those. And then there's a user manual with a disk inside with the drivers you need in case you don't have internet. So that's cool. Let's unbox the motherboard. Yeah, very cool. So yeah, it looks very similar to the Gaming 3 that I unboxed a couple months ago whenever Ryzen first came out. And I actually picked this over the MSI has a really similar board to this, but it said it didn't support Ryzen 5. I don't know why it wouldn't support Ryzen 5, and it would support Ryzen 7, but I know I'm pretty confident this supports Ryzen 5 or 7. I mean, it has AM4. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't. So anyways, let's take a look at it. It looks pretty sweet from the start, so I guess we'll go ahead and start off with some of the I/O, I suppose. There's 2 USB 2, PS2 port, VGA, DVI, D, I believe, HDMI, DisplayPort. I don't know if my motherboard had a DisplayPort or not. HDMI 3.0, HDMI 3.1, I believe, and then HDMI 3.0, and Gigabit Ethernet, and your audio jacks, which audio is separated right here, if you can see. So that's very nice. So it should have better audio quality and stuff like that. I don't really know if it honestly does. On my Gaming 3 board, I don't really think it's really that better, but you know, whatever, I guess that's just their gimmick. I feel like this might light up. I know it lights up on my Gaming 3 board, but I guess we'll find out whenever I build this computer. Let's go ahead and do the system fans. We got one right there. CPU fan is right here. Let's see, let's find out where. System fan 2, and let's see. Oh, here's fan 3/pump. So if you're doing some water cooling, that might be a better slot to put the water cooling setup. And looks like that's probably it, which is very adequate on a micro ATX board. Something that I get a lot of questions about on my Gaming 3 board is, does it have an Rgb header? Because the Gaming 3 non-micro ATX has an Rgb header, and that one doesn't. This motherboard, I don't see an Rgb header on it as well. So if you want RGB, don't get this motherboard because it doesn't have RGB. But it looks like it still has some pretty good options, as we see here, an 8-pin for power, so should have plenty of power. There's the socket, of course, which you kind of have to have. The 4 DIMM slots, which I believe support, I believe they support all the way up to like 3200 megahertz or something like that. 24 pin right there, got some SATAs, got some more SATAs. It's kind of weird how they have 2 coming out like this and then 4 coming out on the side, but whatever, I guess that's what they did to save costs, I don't know. And then we have clear CMOS right here. We got all the front panel connectors within like a little box. Ooh, fancy, fancy. And then you got USB 3.0, USB 2.0, 2 of those. TPM, LPT, which I forget what those are. I should also probably put them on the camera. You get coma, which I'm also not totally sure what it is. And you get front panel audio. Cool, so cool. One difference from this board compared to the gaming board is here's like a serial port right here in the third slot. On the gaming board, that's a PCI Express ×1 slot, which is a little bit more beneficial than a serial slot. I mean, I don't know anybody that ever uses serial slots. I don't know what the heck you can use with those. So that's kind of a useless port right there, but thankfully you do get another PCI Express X16. No, actually that's X4 slot right there. Just X16 size, but X4 speed, if you can see right there. But you get your full PCI Express X16 slot right there. It's just plastic, it's not covered in like metal or anything, but I've never really had any much difficulty with those. Here's the NVMe / I guess M.2 slot here, so that's pretty cool. And there's a little screw that you use to screw that in. So I am going to be using that with the 960 Evo. I know for sure that works on this motherboard, so that's cool. You got your CMOS battery right there, and I don't know, like here's like the, you know, heat sink for the chipset and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the gist of this motherboard. Looks like a pretty nice motherboard, and has some good options and stuff, but I mean, it's also kind of a basic motherboard. There's nothing that's over the top, but it looks pretty good. In certain light, it kind of looks brown, which is kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, it's kind of a budget board, so you get what you get. But it looks like a pretty nice motherboard, especially if you're going AM4 and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but you still want to get like an NVMe slot, you still want to get a good graphics card slot, and you want to have, you know, like 4 RAM slots and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you thought it was helpful. If you have any questions about this motherboard, leave them in the comment section below. I'll try to answer them, even though this is going to be a customer's computer. But thank you guys for watching this video. Drop a like on it, and I'll see you crazy motherfuckers later. Peace out.